Hello and welcome to Friday Finds with Rob Meyer-Kukan.
Hello once again, and thank you for joining me for Friday Finds. I'm Rob Meyer-Kukan, and I'd like to introduce you to my guest, Brenda Austin. Hi, Brenda. How are you?
Hello, I'm awesome.
Great. So I like to just start the interview by giving you a chance, my guest, to tell me and those who are watching a little bit about yourself. So give us a little bit of your background and your bio, and tell us what you do that we're going to talk about today.
Well, sure. I'm from Michigan, which is the Mitten State, so up here. And I am currently in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. I've been here for 15 years. I'm the Director of Music and Worship at First United Methodist in Eaton Rapids. And I have been directing handbells and choirs and other miscellaneous ensembles for 20-some years in the church. More recently, I've started doing quite a bit of handbell composition, which I love doing. And most recently, I've taken on the artistic director role for the Detroit Handbell Ensemble over on the other side of the state. And We're going to talk a little bit about them and what they've got coming up.
Awesome. So give us a little bit of the history of the group. Who are the people in the group, and what do you have that's coming up?
Well, the Detroit Handbell Ensemble has been in existence for 20 plus years, 25 now. And Sue Berry formed them, and then she was director for quite some time. And then Michael Burkhart took over, and he was there for 6 years, and now me. So they have a very long established history in the area. The ringers come from all over that kind of metro Detroit area. They come, some of them drive quite a ways to be part of the ensemble, and they're in all kinds of professions. Some of them are musicians, but some of them are teachers and accountants and you name it. But they come together because they love handbells and they love performing and bringing it all together. We like to be a performing ensemble. Kind of one of the things we want to do is, not everybody has heard of handbells or even knows what handbells are, but hey, we think you're going to have a good time with us. So we try to just have a good time. And if we're having a good time, our audience will have a good time. So our hope is that people would enjoy the concert, even if they're not musicians, or they've never seen a handbell, or they're not specifically handbell people, that we hope to recruit a few more handbell lovers at every concert.
Excellent.
And coming up here shortly in November 12th, we are going to combine with the Kalamazoo Ringers. Janet Van Bailey is the founding director of the Kalamazoo Ringers, and they've been in existence for over 30 years. I believe they are the longest standing handbell, community handbell ensemble. And we have a joint concert with them on November 12th at Chelsea United Methodist Church, which is west of Ann Arbor. And we're going to do some combined numbers. We're each going to do selections by ourselves. And then we're even going to combine with the church choir there, as well as my church choir, and do one big combined number that I wrote for us.
Very cool. And tell us a little bit about the kind of music that the Detroit Handbell Ensemble plays.
We try to do a variety because not everybody likes the same thing. So that you can say, well, I didn't care for that song, but oh my gosh, I loved that one. So we always try to have something that will connect, that audiences will somehow connect, whether that be emotionally or wow, or my goodness, that was just beautiful, or I heard that on the radio. So we put together a Motown medley, which is just fun, and we dance, and people are like, oh my gosh, they're dancing and playing handbells, but they're having a good time. And that's what we hope others will as well. We also try to encourage new writers and new compositions. And actually, I think we have a clip coming up. Matthew Compton, who's one of our youngest and brightest and best composers, he offered this to us, and it's an original composition that's not published. And we had such a good time putting it together. And we want to promote him and the works that he's doing. So
Excellent. Awesome. Well, let's take a moment and take a listen and look at a short video clip that Brenda has sent to us. a little bit of a taste of the Detroit Handbell Ensemble. So we're going to show that to you right now. Awesome. So thank you so much, Brenda, for sharing that with us. Can you tell us, when did the group play that? Was it, how did you guys introduce that to the audience?
Well, we performed that at our spring concerts last year, and the piece is entitled Colerico. And Colerico is an Italian word that means explosive and fierce and sharp. And there are some absolutely explosive moments. I think one of the things Matthew does best is build to this ginormous climax at the end. And so at the end, you just kind of go, oh my goodness, because he has built that tension.
Awesome. Excellent. So how does your schedule get set for the DHE? Is it a concert schedule that you set? Do people contact you and hire you or bring you in to play? How does that whole thing work?
Well, all of the above. As you might guess, having that many busy professionals, sometimes just getting that many people geared up at the same time. What we try to do is work really far ahead and say, okay, this is going to be a concert weekend, and then we can make that available. But folks who want us and want to hire us out for their events can contact us through our website, which is the Detroit Handbell Ensemble .org. Of course, you could contact me directly. My website is brendaeaustin.com, and we would get you in touch with the people who schedule our concerts. We always try to do something in the spring as well as something for the holidays. Bells are always very welcome at holidays. Have you had that friend that says, oh, handbells, those are those things you hear at Christmas?
Right.
Go, actually, we play them all year long. But yes, especially at Christmas, we love to hear bells.
Awesome. Excellent.
We also have a Facebook page, and you can find us on Facebook. Please do like us, and then find out about where and when we are in concert. We'd love to have you. And
you also have an Instagram page, is that correct?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. Great. And I'll make sure that the links to all of the Detroit Handbell Ensemble's social media, their website, and as well as Brenda's website and contact information is in the video description below. If you're watching this on social media, it'll be in the comments below. It'll be the first comment for the video. So what's the best way for people to reach you, Brenda? What's your email address or preferred way of communicating?
Email is same as the website, brendaeaustin@gmail.com, and then my website are probably the two best ways to find me. And I'm happy to, I don't know, I love handbells, so I enjoy helping people make it happen.
Excellent. So I should tell those of you who are watching the video that this question is a little bit off book from the questions that I sent to Brenda in advance to prepare, but I'm sure that it is a question that she will have the answer to right in the palm of her hand. And just because this isn't a professional production and it's like Rob's thing, I'm going to tell you this is the third try answering this question because we're having Wi-Fi issues. So Brenda's really good at answering this question, I should tell you. So it's not surprise anymore. But anyway, Brenda, could you tell us, you said that you were new to composing for handbells, and so could you tell us a little bit of that story and the background of that?
I sure can. I started writing because I couldn't find exactly what I needed for my different handbell choirs. I needed like a level 1 and it had to have certain theme, and I didn't have it. So I started writing it because I thought, how hard can it be to write a level 1 until you start writing a level 1 and then you realize how hard it is. but I just felt like I didn't understand some of the rules behind it and how it differed from traditional composition. So I attended a class offered by the Handbell Musicians of America, the master class on composition and arranging. And we had to submit work ahead of time, and we had to submit 3 different things. And I submitted them kind of sheepishly saying, oh, we're coming to learn, right? And then the first day we get to class, and it was Sandra Tucker, who happens to be, I didn't know it at the time, but was the handbell editor, is the handbell editor for Alfred. And we sit down and she says, you're Brenda Austin? And I said, yeah. She said, well, I want to talk to you. And I thought, oh dear, have I broken some copyright law or something? So I'm sweating bullets, and we finally sit down, and she said, I want to publish this piece. And my jaw hit the floor, and it ended up being Simple Gifts, which was my first piece to be published, and has done pretty well.
It's a great piece.
Well, thanks. It was fun to write. It took me about 4 years to write it. Now I don't take quite so long, but but at any rate, that whole weekend, I did nothing but handbell music. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep. I just worked because I could actually learn and soak up like a sponge from somebody who knew what they were talking about. And I learned a ton. And then from there, that's just how I got started. Lots of different friends who write looked at my things and gave me feedback, and well, generally we try to do this in handbells, or we don't do that. And then the rest is history. Now I think I have 41 pieces to date that are, if they're not in publication, they're on their way. I think there's a good 15 of them that are coming. And then publishers with Beckenhorst, GIA, Choristers Guild, Alfred, From the Top, Agape, Hope Publishing, and probably a couple others that I can. Oh, Soundforth, Lorenz. So anyway, lots of them, and I really enjoy the process. I enjoy when people have asked me to write songs for specific people. That's very rewarding, and I'm always a little surprised when I hear my song and I go, "Wow, that sounds so pretty! Wow."
Awesome. Very cool. And for those of you who are watching who aren't in the handbell world, Brenda mentioned the Handbell Musicians of America. The Handbell Musicians of America is the national professional organization for handbell musicians, for directors, for ringers, and just handbell aficionados in general. So I will make sure that some information about getting a hold of those publishers is also in the show notes, the description, and in the comments if you're watching on social media. So the way I like to end all of our interviews is to ask my guests to give their words of wisdom, the best piece of advice you were ever given. And it can be something that is funny, it can be something that is serious, it can be related to what we're talking about, or it can be completely off the wall. So would you share with us some words of wisdom?
Sure. I had a director in college that always preached to us and said, competence builds confidence. And I don't know how much of that I soaked in at the time, but I am a real believer in it today, that competence, you will feel confident when you are performing a piece of music if you feel like you're competent on it. So often we get hung up on the levels in handbell music. If you don't know about handbell music, like every piece comes with its level 1, 2, 3, 4, and we feel very good about ourselves, pat ourselves on the back when we do a high number, and we feel bad about ourselves when we do a low number. And it really shouldn't be. They're just a guide. They're not biblical, and what's important is the music, and not every group is ready to play a level 3 piece. And maybe it says level 3, but really it's level 4. It just says level 3. And you want your performers to be competent. You want them to feel like they own that piece, because you owe that to your audience or your congregation to own the music before you give it away, to feel like you understand it, you understand what the composer was thinking, and why is that crescendo there, and maybe there's even some word painting or something going on. And that's not going to happen if you're just barely getting all the notes. So I guess that would be my sage advice for today is competence builds confidence. And you will go out there ready to wow your congregations and your audiences if you are confident because you know your stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you for those words of wisdom. And certainly that can apply to a lot of areas of life. So thank you for sharing that with us. Wonderful. Well, thank you to those of you who have tuned in and are watching, whether you're watching on social media or you're watching on YouTube. If you liked this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you like what you're seeing on these videos, definitely subscribe to my channel. That makes sure that you are the first to find out when a new video is published. And of course, Friday Finds comes out every Friday. And we've got a pretty great lineup for the month coming up here. Of course, ending October strong with this wonderful interview with Brenda Austin and the Detroit Handbell Ensemble. I actually thought of something else. The Detroit Handbell Ensemble has a recording, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So if you're interested in that, you can purchase that on the DHE website. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
And at our concerts, of course.
Of course. So I'd like to say thank you once again to Brenda for being my guest today. Thank you to those of you who are tuning in, and I wish you a wonderful Friday and weekend if you're watching on Friday. If you're watching on another day, have a really wonderful week. Thanks again, Brenda, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
If you are an essential oils fan, you'll want to be sure to join me next week as I interview Naya Handy on November 3rd, Friday Finds with Rob Meyer-Kukan.